Hey guys, this is assignment 9. In regards to the quote, I really enjoyed reading the quote because it reminded me that as humans, we are largely influenced by our feelings. Saying that we're largely influenced by our feelings goes into a whole other can of worms because feelings really boil down to what we are influenced by, which is our culture, our family, socioeconomic status, preferences, you name it. It all influences our feelings. However, this brings me to what I disagree about the quote, which is that what the quote suggests is putting all significance on what interests us in our feelings to base our motivation to teach. In his quote, Ron Edmonds said that we teach children whose schooling is of interest to us, and he put emphasis on feeling. I would argue that determining your reasons and motivation for teaching based on feelings and interest is not wise. That may sound silly based on the fact that as people we are emotional beings. But due to that fact, I would say that we cannot let feelings be our backbone in the ultimate reason for teaching due to the sole fact that we're emotional. So if we base our emotion on feeling, our motivation will always change. And that's okay. It's good to have new reasons for teaching, but what if you have a rough day and your feelings aren't warm and fuzzy for teaching? Feelings change and emotions do too. So I think that motivation, or specifically perseverance, must be rooted on fact instead of feelings. That may sound stern and rigid, but let me explain. I want to be serving students for the rest of my life, not based on feelings, but what I know is true. And that comes from what I know is true in the Bible, in the book of Romans, chapter 5:4, it says suffering, or in teaching's case, you could say just keeping the good fight, suffering in a good way. Suffering produces perseverance, and then perseverance develops your character over time, and then character develops your hope, aka motivation. So that really encouraged me because it's not motivation, and then it changes your perseverance and character and hope. But that motivation is a natural product of being perseverant. But if I run off of motivation, some days I won't be motivated. And does that mean I don't keep teaching? Absolutely not. Rather, I want to be persistent and naturally hope, and motivation will be extra bonuses. Feelings are added bonuses after you follow what is true, but it's not the cart before the horse, I think. This is all being said on my outlook of the quote, though. If we feel that children need good teachers, then yes, of course, we'll provide them for them and provide good teachers. But what if you don't believe they do deserve them? See the dependence and sway on feelings? I know for certain children need good schooling and adapt intentional teachers. There will be the days that when, honestly, I'm exhausted and haven't prepared well, where the schooling of my children may not be of interest to me. That is when I rely on what's true, not my mood-changing feelings of what I think I can personally do. It's more of what I'm doing to help what I know is true, and that is children need good schooling. In regards to chapter 4 and 5, I really liked reading about the different kinds of questions to ask kids and to get more deep into it. As far as a time in my own education where I was motivated to go deeper on my own accord was in 6th grade. And I distinctly remember our teacher was teaching about geography in relation to conquering land. I don't remember the name of the game, but I remember having an absolute blast and eagerly thinking about going to class specifically to play this game. I was so excited. We played on teams and had a limited amount of goods to trade and try to produce money, acquire land, take over other territories, etc. And there were about 4 or 5 people at each table, and it was such a blast. And I was thinking about why I felt so intrinsically motivated to engage in this activity, and I came to think that the answer is not only did it encourage us to work as a team to unite, but it actually accomplished that. Chapters 4 and 5 talk about why essential questions and understanding does not simply just happen from a teacher's well wishes to do so. There's a lot behind the scenes. The reason my class as a whole was so invested in this game was because I see now that it targeted, honestly, the 6 facts of understanding in chapter 4, and the teacher understood the importance of intent, which is found in chapter 5, in making a goal that was robust, I'm quoting here, robust and revealing inquiry, leading to deeper understanding and new questions. Simply writing in my lesson plan that I will incorporate a game or activity that will promote team building doesn't mean that the students will feel that needed sense of togetherness and all their peers being on board. Even though I want it to happen, it doesn't always happen. I've got to provide extra, which I found in these chapters. A classroom norm of being invested and actively engaging in activities must be established. That's a big thing I've learned from my classes is that a oneness in activities has to be expected and talked about early on in the class, and so it's normal and that they know that they can participate. It's not just something I threw together that they're like, oh, I have to do this. So going back to the exciting Monopoly-like geography game I played in 6th grade, I see that I exercise as a player in the game all the facets of understanding found in Chapter 4, especially listed on page 82. I could explain every move my team had decided on, could interpret real-life events as they pertain to similarities in the game, and I could apply, have perspective, could emphasize, and could have self-knowledge during the game.